So should we stay in the world is fucked up world? or do something else?
Whatever you want. Be realistic here.
Let's be realistic? Okay. This is about the most realistic, direct song that I've ever written. I enjoy good talking blues, Woody Guthrie, Bob Dylan. So I'd never written one before. I wrote this one during the pandemic as well. You guys seem like a friendly enough audience. And you know, whatever side of the equation you're on here, hopefully, you know, my words are just my thoughts, you know. But anyway, I did a talking blues here. It's called the Talkin NRA Blues. You know, back in 1871, when the Civil War was getting done, a couple of Union generals, Burnside was one, were still kind of bummed about something. See, it was nice and all to win the war, but the truth was his marksmen had been pretty horrible, using a gun called a smooth bore, and all of them weren't known to be too efficient, kind of lacking in precision. It was kind of an issue that needed fixing. In fact, their accuracy was so pathetic, about 1 in 1,000 was the number they said, that a shot that was fired actually made someone dead. No way to run a real country. So to try to save America from humiliation and to keep up with the rest of the developed nations, they formed the National Rifle Association. At the time, under the actual assumption, be a sports club for hunting and gun instruction. And not for nothing, but back then they even wanted control of them. See, they viewed the right from which it was based in the frontier survival of the early days, when a man had to protect himself in wide open space, a duty not to be played with or wasted. Till the 70s, they stayed pretty true to that mission. Sport, skill, history, and tradition, till two guys named Carter and Knox had a vision to do away with all that business. See, any control of a gun was too much, they said, a slippery slope, maybe the cusp of a full confiscation of guns. So we mustn't put any rules up to disrupt what our forefathers trusted we'd understand justly, even after roughly 100-year cycle since them old pump rifles. But still, they'd be damned if they'd ever submit to a hypothetical tyrannical government. After all, they didn't trust the people running it, so they thought, let's just give them some money. To lobby against legislation intended for ex-cons, mentally unstable men, really anyone having laws they need to bend to get whatever weapon they wanted. They couldn't be stunted. Didn't even matter if they hunted or how many rounds per minute the gun did. It's all green in the middle, sonny. Then came old Moses himself, Charlton Heston, and a fella named LaPierre as the new vice president, and the politicking got even more aggressive. After all, they had to protect their investment. A lot of cash to be made in patriotism, so they swapped out militia with the word individual, preached it was every man's God-given will to be vigilant to the red, white, and blue. Never mind if there's maybe a loose cannon or two, or some loner decides of what he ought to do, take it out on some folks with a shiny and new unregulated AR-15. So shiny and clean, such a fine machine. Cause when the news breaks, they'll just offer up a couple of thoughts and prayers, wait for some sales to double, blame it on the TV or the liberal judges or some video games if they gotta. Cause now's not the time to get soft after all, with so many enemies great and small. You surely better be quick on the draw, in fact buy them all up if you want them. Might be coming for your mama. Barack Hussein Obama. So let me just say, shooting's fun, I can dig it, so's driving fast. That's why there's a speed limit, because otherwise what's to stop someone from giving it gas as they go through a school zone? Speaking of schools, I'd prefer if I knew that my daughters could go there without bulletproof in their backpacks, and they could sit back in the cafeteria and snack real relaxed like, without having to worry about the attack of the incel with the holograph sight. And One more thing I just can't grapple with is how there's a 1.2 gun per capita. That's more than one gun for every single inhabitant, all 300 million people. More than one gun for each of them. Now, I'm no mathematician, but that kind of division seems unreasonable. Because all that it takes is a couple of loose screws and a dose of some 24/7 cable news and a regular old case of the Monday blues, and boom, there goes the neighborhood. And thanks to guys like LaPierre and Knox, the sports club don't care about how good a shot you are or if there's maybe a red flag to spot. They think maybe you just might not need them. What's a school kid or two between them? The price of freedom. Hope I'm not bumming anybody out. Turn the lights out on me. There's only one more set of verses.
Keep going. Keep going.
Keep going. It's on control. It's awesome. It's the NRA!
Hey, there we go. They run everything. So, I respect that you might have a family that you'd like to protect if things ever got gnarly, and I support that fully and wholeheartedly. But man, do we need the whole army? Because remember, in the year 2020, with the GOV''T acting funny and secret police in the streets, nobody seemed to be reaching for their peace. I guess all that "don't tread on me" stuff and such is a talking point, and used as a crutch, not have to say that you just love guns so much. If that's the case, I get it, trust me. It's not enough to justify upwards of hundreds of thousands of deaths in this country. And how about the constitutional scholars that live and die by the words of our forefathers, and when the time comes, seemingly can't be bothered if peaceful protesters get shot up? As long as they're not us, the real patriotic desperados, sitting on the cold dead hands. So I'm guessing my point, to keep the short story long, is that somewhere the old NRA got it wrong. The original intent to keep our soldiers strong and prepared just went out the window. To cash in and become a lobbying arm for more and more guns, no matter the harm. But man, we're a long way from back at the farm, so we might need to rethink the system. I ain't saying I got the wisdom, just saying, if the mark was a deer for which they thought they needed some real military precision, I think they missed it. Now the Second Amendment is only one sentence, and the word regulated is hard to forget. But I guess LaPierre and old Moses C. Heston, Oliver North, and the whole damn rest of them couldn't care less if you pass any test, have crimes to confess, consider it best to just let them possess, build a war chest, make them all guess that they're being the best they can be to suppress the hypothetical, tyrannical government of the U.S. of A. Because happiness is a warm gun. Happiness is a warm gun. Happiness is a warm gun.